Today I want to do something a little bit different. I haven't done much on this channel recently, and I'd like to get back to it. There is lots of things that we do, me and my friends that make this channel, that aren't gaming related. We like to watch TV shows or anime, we read books, we read manga. There's lots of things that we do besides video games, even though our content is mostly focused around video games. But yeah, we do a lot more than just that, so that's kind of what this channel is. This RadKatz Plus is basically everything that we're doing that doesn't really fit the criteria of our main channel, because we want to keep that one pretty curated. But like I said, we do lots of different things, and so I have been reading a book series that I read when I was a kid, and it is called Leven Thumps. And I want to go through and kind of talk about my history with the book, and then kind of do like a little mini book review, just my thoughts on the book itself. I'm not going to talk too much about the author, because I haven't really done too much research on the author, and I don't care to anyway. As of right now, maybe I'll get to it later, but Leven Thumps. How did I first hear about this? When I was in grade school, my school used to do like assemblies, and they would bring all sorts of stuff. I swear, I felt like the principals or whoever was in charge of doing activities for us, they just had a dartboard and they just were chucking everything at it, trying to figure out what would land. But a lot of the time, we would have authors of books come by. A lot of different ones. Like we had the guy that did the Judy B. Jones, I think was. She came by. There was a few other book authors, and this was when I was a lot younger. But one of them, they came by and talked to our school when I was probably like 4th or 5th grade. I don't know, what is this, 2005, 2006? Was a guy named Obert Sky, and he's the author of the Leven Thumps book series, I guess. But he came by, he talked to us about his book, and I honestly don't even remember. I just remember seeing him, and then afterwards he was selling his books. I don't think I ever bought them, but I remember after watching that assembly where he came to speak to us, I thought, hey, I met the guy, I'll check it out, I'll read his book. And so I did. From what I remembered as a kid, I thought it was fun. I think I read the entirety of the first book and maybe a little bit of the second one, but I didn't really remember anything about it. I remembered a few of the characters, and that was literally it. So when I bought the book series and decided to go through it again as an adult, I now have opinions on this book, and I just wanted to talk about it because I'm going to continue to read the book series, and I thought, hey, what the heck? I'm going to read the book, I'm going to read the series, I want to talk about it. So the first book in the Leven Thumps series is called, well, it was formerly called The Gateway to Fu, and now it is just called The Gateway, because I purchased these copies brand new. There's 5 books in the series, by the way. As of the recording of this video, I'm currently reading the second book, so I had finished the first book, started the second book. So I want to do a little, just a little quick review of my thoughts on the series in its entirety when it's done. Or I guess I'm just going to go book by book. But yeah, this is book 1. I don't know why they changed the name. I really don't. I have no idea why. But the quick synopsis of, or I guess summary of what this book is there's a boy named Leven Thumps. He is special. Leven Thumps is special. He is the human that he's going to bridge the gap between Earth and this place called Fu. Essentially what Fu is it's like, I mean, it's a different world, because this is like a fantasy, kind of like a mystical, a fantasy book. Where you've got Fu and you have Earth. Fu is like a place where it's necessary for Fu. Its kind of main job is to support Earth, like with dreams and stuff. Basically, if Fu didn't exist, people couldn't dream, and I can't remember exactly how it's explained in the book, but essentially the worlds would fall apart. So there's a bad guy named Sabine. He's trying to get from Fu to Earth because he wants to be the ruler of Earth and get out of Fu. Because people that live in Fu, their life sometimes sucks because they have a lot of weight on their shoulders. Anyway, Leven goes on these adventures. He meets characters along the way. He meets a little critter guy named Clover. Clover's called the Sycophant. He's kind of a gamer. Clover's kind of a fun, happy-go-lucky character that more or less is like Levin's right-hand man. They're buddies. He's basically like Tinkerbell to Peter Pan. And then another character that Leven meets along the way is a girl named Winter, who is actually from Fu, but she gets reborn in Earth. Well, rather, she's born in Fu and then gets swapped with a baby that was born in Earth. So the baby that gets swapped goes and lives with Fu. Goes to live in Fu while Winter comes here because she's a gamer as well, and she helps out Leven on his adventures. And then the last character we meet is Geth. Geth is one of the kings of Fu. And in the very beginning, Geth, he is a seed. As the seed gets planted in Earth by a wizard guy that we don't really hear much about. His name's Ansel. He dies right away. Spoiler. I guess this entire thing is spoiler. Geth grows on Earth, becomes a tree, eventually gets cut down and chopped up into a toothpick, and he is a toothpick for the vast majority of this book, this adventure. So yeah, that's kind of it. Leven goes on these journeys, ups and downs with these different characters, interacting with them, and then how the book ends is they find the gateway. Sabine gets blown up along with the gateway, and Leven and the rest of the characters are in Fu, and that's where the book ends. He falls asleep on the couch, can take a breather, and just chill. So one thing that this book gets a lot of crap for is being compared to Harry Potter, because you've got a character who his parents aren't there. He's raised by his aunt and uncle that kind of suck really bad. I don't know. To me, I think it's, I mean, I understand, but like at the same time, like who cares? Sure, there's similarities, but you're still telling a different story with different characters that are acting differently, and the world is different. I mean, this doesn't take place at a school at all. Yeah, there's a little bit of mystical magic things that happen along the way. Like Winter, for example, she can freeze things. She has the ability to freeze things. Leven has the ability to see the future. Sometimes he can't really control it. So there is magic within this world. But yeah, it gets crapped on for being compared to Harry Potter. I don't know, whatever. That's not really a nitpick that I have. One thing that I really like about this book and the way that Obert Sky writes is the world building. The world building of Fu and some of the mystical creatures and characters associated with Fu is so interesting to me. And honestly, is what kept me reading this book, because it was definitely made for a younger audience. And as you go about reading it, you can definitely tell with some of the dialogue and how some of the conflicts get brought up and get resolved quickly. I mean, sometimes the pacing's really fast or a little slow, and it's not terrible at times, but like I said, this is definitely written for a younger audience. And younger me probably really liked it, but older me, I'm just like, yeah, like I've read other fantasy novels that are far more compelling than this one. But what I really liked was the world building, the world building of Fu and some of the monsters. I want to go through and I want to read just a couple of the excerpts of talking about the monsters in Fu, because some of the descriptions are really, really cool. And like the fact that Obert Sky created some of these is super, super dope. So, one of the types of monsters are called rants. So, rant is I guess I need to go through. Nits or Nidions, they are humans who were once on Earth and brought to Fu by fate. So that's another thing I need to explain, is how people can get to Fu, aside from the gateway, is they have to accidentally get there. Like there's so many happenstance, very specific things have to happen at very specific times, where it is highly unlikely that somebody would ever experience this and go to Fu, but it does happen, where they would need to be walking across this certain street at this certain time of day with this specific temperature, and the sun needs to be here. Like there's so many things that have to line up. The stars literally have to align for you to get to Fu, but it does happen. And that's what a knit is. So a knit is just a person that is brought to Fu, and they once they get there, they work for Fu. It says they are the most stable and best dream enhancers. They are given a powerful gift soon after they arrive in Fu. A number of knits can control fire or water or ice. Winter is one of these knits, I do believe. Let me double check here. Nope, she's not a knit. She was born in Fu. Okay, anyway, that's what a knit is. So this is one of the coolest ones that I would love to see visually. There is a picture of it in the book, but I don't think it's fine, I guess. But it is what a rant is. A rant are knit offspring that are born with too little character to successfully manipulate dreams. They are constantly in a state of instability and chaos. As dreams catch them, half of their bodies become the image and imagination of what someone in reality is dreaming at the moment. Rants are usually dressed in long robes to hide their odd, unstable forms. So thinking about this, you have a character. Or you, whatever. Half of your body is you, and then the other half is whatever somebody on Earth is dreaming about. So the rant that is in this book is one of Sabine, the bad guy's right-hand man's. His name is Jamoon, and there are times where Jamoon is like having a serious conversation with Sabine, but half of his body is becoming like a soccer player kicking the final goal of a FIFA tournament or something, or whatever. Like, you just think about it. When I was reading this description in the book, my mind was just losing it. My imagination was gone. I thought it was so cool thinking about these different types of characters of, like, you know, you could have half of the guy here, and the other half of him is maybe he's competing in like a wrestling match, or he's lifting weights, or he's water skiing, or maybe he's in the middle of a chess match or on a date. Like, there's so many super interesting things that could come along with this character. Super cool and very unique. I've never really seen anything like that in fantasy. And maybe there's something out there. Maybe Oberst Sky copied somebody, but I always thought that was a super unique monster that are in that exists within Fu. And like I said, that was really one of my favorite parts, is the world building and some of the creatures that live in Fu. That's what kept me going. I wanted to learn more about Fu because I honestly didn't really care that much about some of the characters. It is fun kind of learning their backstory. We honestly don't know that much about Leven as of yet in book 1. We don't know that much about Geth. We really don't know that much about anybody. I mean, Winter, we get kind of a little bit of background, where she was born in Fu, becomes a baby and taken to Earth, and then she loses all of her memories. We're still in book 1, and the way that Oberst Sky's written it, I'm sure, is to start us zoomed in on the painting, and then as the world expands, we're gonna get more of it. But yeah, I honestly, like, this book is, I guess another nitpick I have is sometimes the writer, he over-explains things, where he's talking about a specific scene and it's like overly explained. It's like, dude, I understand. I got it three sentences ago. Anyway, that's just another little nitpick I have. Some of the dialogue is very cheesy at times. It's, once again, made for a younger audience. Some of it I found funny, but I don't think there was ever really a time where I was laughing out loud, or I thought, huh, that was a good joke. I can't even think of one, to be quite honest with you. However, I think there's a scene in this book that is one of the most grotesquely described scenes ever. And I'm going to spoil a little bit of it for you, but if you ever decide to read this book, then you'll experience it for yourself. But going back to the character Geth, who is a toothpick, his, like, half of the book, if not more than half of the book, is him trying to get to Leven, trying to find him, trying to meet up so Leven can help destroy the gateway, and they can end back up in Fu, and back in Fu. But there's a scene where Geth is at a diner, and I think he has one arm or something at this point, like a little tiny toothpick. But he wants to get more appendages, and he still can't see or hear or anything at this point. So in this scene, Geth gets some, like, at points he gets stepped on by like high heels, and then his arm pops out, or he'll get smushed up against the table and he'll get a leg, or there's a little screw poking out, so he bashes his head against the screw so that he gets eye holes and ear holes, and it's so grotesquely described, and I know it's happening to a toothpick, but you can imagine while you're reading this, like, oh, yikes, dude, like that is, it's different. It's very different. Like I said, it's very grotesque, and I remembered that as a kid. I remember reading that, and that's kind of what stuck with me with this book, is just that scene of Geth getting stabbed and squished, and he's in pain, screaming out because he feels all of this, even though he's just a little toothpick. But yeah, that's kind of book one. That's my thoughts on it. So if I had to sum it up, like, it's fine. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. There's nothing really here to keep me reading, other than I'm very interested in Fu. And at the end of this book, we did get there. We got to Fu. I want to learn more about that. The creatures that live in Fu, I'm curious about that as well. And maybe the characters get better. There is some rapport between them all, but right now the book series is just where I'm at anyway, just in its infancy. So I've started book 2 already, like I said, as of the filming of this video. I think I'm 4 or 5 chapters in, so I'm still relatively early in it, at the beginning. So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend this book unless you read it as a kid and you just want a little bit of nostalgia in your life, because that's kind of where I'm at with it. But alas, I'm going to keep going, because like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's lots of other things I do besides play video games, lots of other media that I consume, and I want to talk about it. So with that is book 1 of the Leven Thumps series, The Gateway, or formerly known as The Gateway to Fu. In my next video, I'll be talking about the second book whenever I get that one done. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below. If you've read this book as an adult, let me know your opinions. If you read this book as a kid and you don't want to tarnish your nostalgia for it, great. I understand. I get it. There's lots of things I do that with. But anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching. And as always, keep it rad.